How flexible is your employer? There are more two-working parent families than ever before, although almost all employers today report offering some form of flexibility to their employers in response. A new study shows employers are still widely failing to keep pace with the realities of working families. And that of America's working parents are struggling more than ever to achieve a successful work-life blend. Here to talk about work versus family in the age of the flexible workplace is Dave Lissy. He's Chief Executive Officer of Bright Horizons Family Solutions. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Stephanie, and great to be with you today.
So how does the U.S. rank versus other countries when it comes to our flexibility in the workplace?
Well, you know, Stephanie, we have the good fortune at Bright Horizons in working in 6 countries, a couple in Europe, here in the U.S., obviously, as well as in a country in Asia. And the reality is, although there's some countries around the world who've made better progress than others, largely this is a global issue. Even when there are better policies around things like maternity leave in other countries, still there are caregiving stress issues that pop up in virtually every country. So while we still have some work to do to make it to the top of the list, I think the issue that we're talking about today is really a global issue.
Well, and Dave, I mean, what do you think it is? What do you think that most parents are just worried about?
Well, I think what our study shows is pretty consistent with what we've learned for the past 28 years. When people are in a situation where they don't have a supportive employer or a supportive working environment, it creates great anxiety, and it doesn't allow them to be as successful, not only at home, but also at work. And if you flip that to the other side, we've learned that, you know, when employees do find themselves in a supportive working environment, they can be really productive, and they would say that they're more loyal to their employer, they're more likely to turn down a higher paying job. And the good news is there's plenty of examples. In your area, we work with Chico's, for example, which is an example of a leading employer, recently opened an on-site child care center, and lots of other practices in place. And I think that there are lots of things that employers can do, and no one size fits all, but lots of things employers can do to move the needle.
Yeah, Dave, actually, you took the words right out of my mouth. I would say that if they are not supportive and it's causing that stress at home, it's certainly going to affect the productivity at work, right?
Yeah, you know what? This is not a nice to do. This is a business issue. This is a must do for those employers who are serious about engaging the talent they need in our today and into the future. More and more working parents are at work, dual working families, and that's not going to change. That's a permanent reality. Those employers who can figure out how to get this right are going to succeed, and obviously that's good for families, and it's also good for business.
Well, and speaking to getting it right, as an employer, what can they do to just better help these working parents to achieve a healthy work-life balance?
Yeah, our experience tells us, Stephanie, that employers can combine supportive programs like some of the ones I mentioned earlier around caregiving-related issues with a work environment that supports flexibility, with a leadership team that takes a tone at the top, that it's okay for supervisors to enter into dialogue with employees around these issues. I don't think people expect a free pass. I don't think they expect perfection. What they expect is an open dialogue and, where possible, flexibility to make it work, as long as they're trying to be good at what they're doing at work. And so I think employers, you know, there's an array of best practices. They can go to our website at brighthorizons.com and find examples of many, many best practices that are out there. But they need to combine that with a supportive work environment that starts with the tone at the top.
Well, and I think when you say just respect has a lot to do with it too, you know, as an employee, I think that flexibility and seeing that they want to do that makes you want to work harder.
I think in my own direct reports, many of my own direct reports work in some sort of flexible work arrangement, and I will tell you, they work no less hard than people who don't work in those environments, and in fact, probably give a little bit more because they're so appreciative of that flexibility. So I think when it works, it works. It works not only for the family, but it works for the employer.
Yeah, and Dave, as we close here, what would you say maybe the first step is for the employer or each other to take to create that balance for the employees?
Well, from an employee perspective, again, no one size fits all. I think it's about having dialogue with your partner around what your own situation entails and kind of what can be worked out. And as you look and seek employment or look to advance your career, that you ask the right questions of your employer around programs and policies and work environment that supports your needs and what you're trying to achieve. And so it's not a sort of magic pill or one solution for everybody. It's about having open dialogue about this and being conscious of it as you look to advance your career.
Dave, thank you so much. And also, how about a website that we can go to get more information?
Absolutely, Stephanie. You can have your viewers go to our website at www.brighthorizons.com and click on the Employer Solutions section of the website. From there, they can download a copy of our latest study as well as best practices that exist all across the country, including some right there in Florida. And then also, they can get information on the White House Summit on Working Families, which occurred 3 weeks ago.
Dave, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you, Stephanie. Have a great day.
We're going to have more on the flexible workplace on our website. Just go to fox4morningblend.com.
I could not agree with Dave more. I love it. All right, one last look at your Fox forecast, and we'll be right back.